So let's set up week 29 in my Sterling Ink Common Planner A5 vertical. Afterwards, we will say our affirmations. I will show you my new Dream Interpretation Commonplace book. We will discuss the lunar phases of week 29. And if there's time, we're going to cap that off with a tarot reading for the collective. Let's get into it. So let me greet my sister once again. Hey, sister. Thank you for joining us. Are you also planning, or are you doing something else while you hang out? Okay, so we do have an appointment. Probably not going to get home from that until 1:30. Okay, we have that appointment. We also have an appointment on Tuesday. Oops, that triangle's in the wrong spot. Okay. Any other appointments? Are there? I don't think so. So that's that. Um, okay, appointments done. Next up is cooking dinner. Right? Yep, cooking dinner. Speaking of cooking, I didn't make ice cream. I was supposed to do that, and I didn't. I did make one batch of bread. I still have to make the second batch. I'm going to be doing that later on tonight. All right, so we have dinner time blocked. Next, we're going to time block the bedtime routine. It's not what we needed. Okay. Oops. So I didn't use my planner very much this week 28. I did say it was going to be a crazy week, and it was crazy. There was flooding in my neighborhood. Nothing really catastrophic, but there was flooding. Things had to be canceled because we couldn't travel on the streets. But it's all gone now. But that was a wild Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. That was a wild Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember anymore. It was Thursday. So yeah. It was a very disordered week for me. I did push ahead on one of the bookkeeping projects that I've been talking about. I would say maybe an hour left on that, and that's like a large estimate. It could be 20 minutes left, but I'm going to be time blocking an hour for that so that I can finally be done with it. But yeah, okay, so let's PM reflection. Weekly reflection. Oops, only needed one there. Okay, bedtime routine done. Next up, homeschool admin. We are not done with the homeschool admin stuff that we've been carrying over all this time. There's still so much I did do a couple things, though. I'm knocking it, but I'm looking at the to-do list, and some things were done. So we just have to keep plugging away. And see, that's the good thing about planning and checking things off. You may feel like you haven't done anything, but the planner will tell you, oh no, look at what you did it here. You did do that thing. So that's another benefit of planning when you're very busy and very overwhelmed. Because I'd say it's the overwhelm that makes me forget that I did those things. And I come in every Sunday like, oh, I didn't do everything from last week. And it's like, well, you did some things. Okay, before I nail down this homeschool admin, I do want to put that hour that I said needed doing. Gonna make that 8:30. I'm giving myself a whole lot of time. I'm giving myself 3 time blocks, but I never want to write it down again. So let's finish it once and for all on Monday the 14th. Okay, and since we know we're doing it on Monday, I need to forward that. See, I did work on it. Here it is, but I just didn't finish. Still going, but we should be done on Monday, hopefully. Okay. Next up, homeschool admin. I'm gonna make this week a big one for this. I'm saying that, but that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily possible. I'm having trouble finding my ruler. We're gonna make Friday afternoon a homeschool admin time as well. Oh. It can't be because I forgot. We're going to be out. That means I'm going to be homeschooling into the afternoon on Friday, so I can't even... and you know what I just realized? I have to mark down pickups that I need to do. There are people I need to pick up. And I forgot about that. Okay, so... 1:30. There we go. Pickups added. Now back to homeschool admin time. What we're going to do is we're definitely going to dedicate all of Sunday evening. We are definitely going to dedicate all of Saturday evening. And the same thing for Thursday. Okay. All right. Need to write update homeschool register here. All right. That's it. Homeschool admin has been added. Now we're going to add work/content. So we have book club on Wednesday. Friday. And Saturday. Okay. Oops. Live. If you're new here, I'm Ingrid from thinkingthis.com. I'm a writer, tarot reader, Akashic record guide, medium, and spiritual empowerment professional. I've discovered that decorative planning keeps me productive and motivated as I homeschool, parent, maintain my spiritual practice, and create content. On Sundays, I go live, time block, and decorate my weekly pages. That's what we do practically every Sunday. And that's what we'll be doing next Sunday. There is also a book club every Wednesday at 7:30. You have to have a Facebook for that, just because these Zoom links, etc., are on the Facebook group, and the files and discussion questions. I mean, I think there's a WhatsApp option too. But yeah. So that's every Wednesday. Next, I need to mark the reading and note-taking for the book club. And we are still reading Women Who Run with the Wolves. It's not a complaint. It's a very long, hefty book, and it's so chock full of information that one thing leads to the other, and there's just so much discussion to come from 1 or 2 pages of the book itself. So we're taking it really slow in book club, but it's worth it. That's all I can say. It's worth the intense read that we're giving it, because we're looking things up. My cousin comes with tons of notes referencing and explaining some of the concepts that Clarissa Pinkola Estes describes in the book. It's just it's a very meaty work, and there's so much information there about dream interpretation that is one of the main reasons I decided that I wanted to put all this dream interpretation stuff into one notebook that could then be referenced by myself or even my children as to various ways to interpret dreams. And kind of like a dream dictionary. Okay, so evening has been time blocked. Okay, so now we have to add homeschool instruction time. It's pretty much 9:30. One thing I need to do, and I don't know when I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'm supposed to do this, but I'm baking bread, so I don't know. But I need to create a loop schedule ASAP so that I can remember to do every subject. the flag here, since we know we're going to need it and we have the marker out. This time I want to do the flag with stripes. There we go. All right, now we're going to highlight the hourly blocks because there's nothing else to do at that time, period. It's got to be homeschool related. Oops. There we go. Write this, read. Should write the page number. I don't know the page number right now. Okay, now cleaning. Time blocking, cleaning. All right, 8:30. Actually, I do like Mondays. I do like to clean till 10, so it's not really 8:30. It's really 9. 9 to 10. Okay, and then laundry, 11 to 1 on Saturday. Oh, you got your grocery order? I didn't know you were there because you didn't answer my question before. But I guess I'm telling you that now when you're not even going to hear that. Okay, cleaning. Laundry. Okay. And we might as well, we're talking about cleaning tasks, so cleaning. Laundry. There are the Saturday cleaning tasks. They're over here. All right. Bam. All right, so we got that cleaning thing. Also dropped this Sunday morning task. of loading the vitamins. If they're preloaded, it just takes a lot less time to pack lunch. Next up, what do we have? Actually, that was not supposed to be there. That was supposed to be here. All right, we are almost done with the time blocking. We just have the morning routine to get on here. Then it'll be about the, you know, the headings for the to-do lists and the decoration. Okay, so I'm going to turn the book just so that I can write it neater and faster. All right, we have written it all down. Now we are going to put our dot. We're going to put our bullet for all of these tasks that are supposed to happen every day, so we don't have to write it each time. The bullet will be enough so that we can mark that we did it. Oops. Just realized I did extra dots. Usually don't do that on Saturday and Sunday. Okay. All right, we have time blocked the week. Now we're going to make our to-do lists. to-do lists and grocery lists, basically the lists. Oh man, I did that in the wrong spot. Ugh. It's gonna have a double flag on that one. Wow, it's hot out. I did a really good job of not complaining until now. Holy moly. The way I should be using these to-do lists is to have it be a next actions kind of list. So, for instance, a lot of this thinking this work stuff is on a Kanban board already. But sometimes the opportunity to do whatever task is on the Kanban is happening when I'm not in front of the Kanban to remind me that that's the next action. And so that's what this list is going to be for. In the past, it was just catching everything. But I'm gonna start using project pages again or something, because there's just too much. There's too many things being written that don't need to be there per se. So I'm going to try to keep it to next actions only. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so groceries. All right. I still have not really gone into my my supplies to grab all the mint related stuff that I could use. So groceries. One thing I also didn't do, like I counted the task blocks last week, but I didn't keep track, you know, of how many task blocks do you have left and all that other stuff. Although I suppose I could count. But yeah, didn't really use that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too busy. to keep track of them. I don't know. We're gonna write it one last time today. And if I do not keep track of the task box, I'm not gonna add that pressure to myself now. All right, we're gonna go with the same once again. I'm probably gonna have to make myself more coffee. Wow. I fought it bravely. But I have much to do after this, and if I don't drink coffee, I'm gonna take a nap, which I should not do. And lastly, highlight week 29. Oh, not truly lastly. There's our piece of washi tape. Hello. All right, this is what's next here. Oops. All right. A tad imperfect, but we're not going to worry about it. All right, bam, that's it. Let's get into the affirmations. Okay, here we go. I create the conditions for my happiness all of the time. I accept and claim my unique beauty and wild soul. I have resolved the issues from my past and move forward with clarity into the future. I have the confidence to ask for what I want and to become more creative and spontaneous in my life. Okay. now I'm actually going to drop this on here. I want to. Because it is a vertical oriented design. Oops, we're going to have to give a little space here. So it is a vertically oriented design. And I don't think I generally like to put like glitter, one of my glitter washies here. Having a problem. Having a problem. Right. Slightly off. All right. There we have it. Added a piece of decor. I barely decorated my habit trackers and all that stuff last month. Didn't even get to put headings. I was just very focused on finishing things that I didn't. As long as the column was labeled, I kept track of whatever it was, and then I kept going. But okay, here we are. We're done with the affirmations. Next up, I said that I was going to show you my new Dream Interpretation Commonplace book. That's what I said. So, just going to move all of these art supplies to the side. There we go. All right, so I'm going to close this. And next, this is the Dream Interpretation Commonplace book. Why am I using one of these instead of the cool notebooks that have like fountain pens? It wants to track my face. Let's open it so that it stops doing that. It's a very shiny cover. I got this on Etsy in maybe 2021. I think that's when I got it. So this is the Suki Falling Star Edition by Notebook Therapy. And this was intended to be my Crystal Skulls bullet journal. And I got as far as making an index. Oh, this is a B5. But I got as far as making an index. I mean, not index. Making a grid spacing guide. Oops. Oops. Yeah. I got as far as making a grid spacing guide and separating out index pages. And then I never did it because I had to like compile the information that would go into the book from my old personal journals. And it was before I had discovered bullet journaling and indexing and all that stuff. So I had to really just read through every single page of my journals in order to get the info that I needed for one entry of the crystal skulls, because I would mention the specific skull at different points of time in the journal based on, whether I worked on it or not. So that project became bigger than I anticipated when I decided to start it. Anyway, then Archer and Olive came out with these beautiful Halloween notebooks in 2023, I believe. And I got my hands on one that has an actual skull on the cover. And so I was like, okay, no, we're going to use that for the Crystal Skull notebook. And we're going to put this away and use it for something else. Because again, only the grid spacing guide was used and the index was penciled in. And there was this initial page. And I believe I actually have video of me drawing this stuff and like laying it out because I was, going to make content using the Crystal Skull bullet journal. But, I got too busy also decorating the daily planner took precedence over the Crystal Skull bullet journal. And so that's where we're at. Eventually, this is going to be erased. For now, I'm keeping it there because this layout of how the information is something that I want to try when I actually do get back into the Crystal Skull bullet journal. Anyway, so what I did this weekend was I just added the line that's going to be for the marginal notes or for the reference notes about whatever gets written in this larger piece. So there's a big index. There's like 8 pages or something like that. If I finish the book and there's still a lot of index pages left, I can then do like alphabetizing of topics, because right now what's going to happen with this is that it's not alphabetizing of topics. This is my first entry. It's not alphabetizing of topics. I'm just going to put the letter of it, so the first entry is shoes. I put a big giant S. I put the reference, like where I read it, where this is from. And then I summarize or quote whatever the information is. And so down here we have feet, and, it's not alphabetized. So like I said, if there are index pages left when I get to the end of the book, that's when I'll come back and alphabetize topics. And that could be another way of looking things up. So that's pretty much it. Why did I start it even though I didn't finish that thing that I said I was supposed to finish before I could start? What happened was the full moon. I had a very, very intense dream. And I was like, I need to look up the symbolism of this. In book club, we're currently reading a story that depicts the symbol of one of the elements of the dream. And I was like, we're right there. I know what page that's on. Let me go back and let me write this stuff down because it is directly related to something that is happening to me. So I kind of broke the rules and started the commonplace book early, but I just, like, I needed to write it down. I don't want to write it down so I can copy it later, right? So I was like, just start the book. you know, and I used a stencil for these letters. This did not take long at all to decorate. So that's that. That's how this is going to work. And that is the Dream Interpretation Commonplace book. I forgot what I was saying about the fountain pens. That's what happened. Why didn't I choose a journal where I could use fountain pens? Because fountain pens are fun to like copy notes with. And the reason is I have a whole bunch of these 160 GSM journals. And it's like, dude, we're not going to keep buying a new book just because it's a new fad. Just because we like fountain pens now. We're not going to buy a new book. We're going to have to just use what we have to write down the information that we want to compile. Another thing is that that journal is really pretty and it's nice to be a hand-me-down. There's nothing, you know, extremely private and personal that's being written in there. So it's useful for like, hey, these are, you know, the dream interpretations that my mom, you know, had written down and compiled. So that's the reason I chose that notebook with super thick pages. Anyway, what do I have written here? I said we were going to talk about the lunar phases. We have a waning crescent lunar phase in Pisces tomorrow, Monday, July 14th at 8:47 a.m. I have specifically written something about that lunar phase for some content that I did last year. And I was like, dude, that should also be written down outside of the business notebook in a place where it's more easily referenced. Because the business notebook is kind of like scrap paper, and I'm not really going back to it unless I'm looking for something very specific. So I was like, let's transcribe that information into our astrology notebook. So page 118. Page 118, I wrote this info here about the waning crescent lunar phase in Pisces. And I'm like, this is relevant to me today, so let's copy it into the astrology notebook. I have not done much specific about the moon in this notebook. I just started with the zodiac over here. Yeah, basically I didn't do any planetary, that's what it is. I did no planetary layouts. I did the houses, I did the signs, but not the planetary bodies. And so now I'm like, shoot, there should be sun, moon, right? Like, all right, so we're going to do it on this side. We're going to say that information about the sun is going to go here. Well, are we? Yes, let's do that. Let's just do that. Okay, information about the moon is going to go here, and we are just going to copy that. We're not going to do anything fancy today because we really don't have time. So we're just going to write it down. And it's not even going to be in the right order, right? Because there's new moon, blah, 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 full moon, and it keeps going. We're already in waning crescent, but I'm just going to write it down here. I'll figure something out. But let's write it down. Waning crescent moon. Actually, no. I want to use the symbols. So, just put this here. Use the symbol. Waning crescent moon. You know, I'm getting complicated. I was just gonna put moon, like just the moon glyph. Oh, hey, Cuzzo. No problem. I was just gonna put the lunar glyph, but now I'm like, no, let's draw the phase the way it looks. So I'm gonna draw the whole thing and then waning crescent. All right. Waning crescent. And what do we have for waning crescent? The keyword. Well, not the keyword. I'm going to just quote myself because I wrote this for an affirmation. I might as well tell you what I'm writing. When the moon is at its waning crescent phase, we are invited to restore and cleanse. When the moon is at its waning crescent phase, we are invited to restore and cleanse. Okay. And now I have something specific about the moon in Pisces to say. So for that, I'm going to use the moon glyph. But I'm going to use the smaller... I keep losing my little black ruler. I'm going to use the smaller ruler to do it. Okay, and we're going to indent a little here. So We have the moon in Pisces. Pisces, I did it as Gemini. Hello. Moon in Pisces. Moon in Pisces will bring opportunities for your intuition to guide, guide your next steps. There we go. And what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to write my name. So I'm going to write Maine. Page 118. Thinking this 2024. Okay, so there's the reference note for that. I'm not even gonna decorate it. Michelle says the Southwest blue is tied to Zuni, Navajo, Hopi tribes. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm going to be adding to my dream interpretation commonplace book. Okay, so that's the message for Moon in Pisces. Then I also have something for, where is it? Something for last quarter moon in Aries, which is July 17th at 8:37 p.m. All right, so moon, wait, now it's last quarter moon. So I'm going to write that here, last quarter. Yeah, there's a waiting. There's like, because I can't read and do it at the same time. So there's a waiting period where it's basically like I do the thing and then I come back and check the comments. So that's just the nature of this type of content. Okay. Last quarter, I said it was on page 118, didn't I? No. Page 117. Okay, so this lunar phase this lunar phase is an ideal time to reflect on our accomplishments to reflect on our accomplishments. All right, did I get that phase with Aries? Because if I did not, and that's something for me to do later. Capricorn here, but not Aries last quarter. Ooh, I have something else for Waning Crescent. Oh, well. Okay, we're gonna stop there. This was page 119. Main. Page 119. 2024. Okay. Michelle says the southwest direction, which some cultures link to transformation, maturity, and guidance. Interesting. Oops. What happened there? Okay, so that's it. We have added our info to our astrology notebook about the lunar phase, where it is more easily locatable in a notebook that I reference for astrology information. Okay, so like I said, we've got about 8 minutes. We can do a quick full moon, not full moon, what am I talking about? Last quarter moon in Aries reading for the collective. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Okay, so we're starting with my head wrap, head scarf, I mean. I'm just going to do a nice loose little thingy here. It's just one reading. It's going to come off in about 6 minutes. Okay, so here we are. We are just going to pull out the Moonology manifestation oracle cards because I like to use the phase as a visual. Okay, so last quarter moon in Aries. Work through your feelings. Work through your feelings. Actually, no, it's at the end of the week. It happens Friday. So that would be right here. Okay, now we are going to be using the Modern Witch deck. Okay, and so the question that we will be asking is what guidance do we have for week 29, with the intention that we use this information to guide us with the highest information. I need to use some spiritual cologne. I didn't plan it, but the cards are mint color, like the theme for July. But when I chose these cards this morning, I didn't realize that. Okay, so card number 1. What is the highest action to take this week? Card number 2. What is the highest thing to know? Card number 3. What is the task the moon brings to me? What is the task the moon brings to me? There we go. Obviously, work through your feelings is part of the task. Okay, so number 1, what is the highest action to take? And I actually want a pendulum test as I say this, because that's normally what I do for the collective readings. I want to be sure that I'm giving the highest information. Okay, so the highest action to take for week 29 is strength in reverse. So this is actually saying to me it's time to compromise, especially week 1 and 2, but the energy is not compromise with others. And see, my pendulum is going to a bigger yes. It's compromise with yourself. There's a very high standard of energy, right? And we keep holding ourselves to that high standard because it's good for us. It's good for us and helps us achieve. However, there's gonna be things to work through. There's going to be stuff to look at. And so cut ourselves some slack is also the energy of the first 1 to 2 days of week 29. And that is the highest action to take, is cut yourself some slack. Number 2, what is the highest thing to know? The Hanged One, also in reverse. Must have pulled all of these out in reverse. It's okay, because the information is the information regardless. So the Hanged Man in reverse, the highest thing to know. The highest thing to know is that although you may feel stuck, you are not stuck. It's slow growth, but it's growth. And that's midweek. Don't feel bad about the pause that earlier in the week had to occur. Let's not hang ourselves up on the past. And then finally, the task that the moon brings. What does this last quarter moon in Aries bring? What is the task? And the task is Wheel of Fortune. And so work through your feelings. There's a part of us that's going to feel victimized by the circumstances of the week. And the task the moon is bringing is, okay, feel the feelings, do the thing, work through them, right? Not repressing them, but expressing them in whatever ways necessary. And also, this reversing is also making me think of retrogrades. And I'm not exactly sure what's retrograde or what's going retrograde at this particular moment, but it's making me think of retrogrades. And the energy of retrogrades is always review, look back, and assess. And so that is also the task of this last quarter moon in Aries. Review, go back, assess. And that's it. Is there something that we need to balance around all of this? No, there is not. And so, bam, we finish at 5:01. Awesome. And that's it. If you enjoyed our time together, please remember to like and subscribe so that you can be notified when we're live or upload new content. No one said anything else in the comments. So thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much, Cuzzo, for stopping by and hanging out with us. And yeah, only love prevails. See you all next week. Peace. Oops, I never hit stop.